Good morning, students. This is the second session on the chapter Management, Meaning, Nature and Importance. Next topic, I think it will be topic number 2. Write in the topic list. Number 2, give the heading Definitions of Management. Definitions of Management. Give a colon, underline it. Below it, write point number A. Point number A. Write down classical concept of management. Classical concept of management. Within brackets, page number 93. Please check your textbook and write down the page number. Page number 93. Please listen that in the second topic of this chapter, we are going to discuss the different definitions of management which have been framed by different management experts, management gurus over the years from their own understanding and realization of management. These management experts through continuous observation, experimentation, their findings and their practical knowledge which they acquired through their long professional career have given us certain definitions of management from their own individual perspectives. And all these definitions of management are meaningful. All these definitions of management try to establish management as having certain unique characteristics as per the realization and observation of these management experts. So the first definition is the classical concept of management. Okay, the classical concept of management, which says, the definition lays down that management is a process. Okay, so this definition, the classical definition of management or the classical concept of management says, it tries to establish management as a process. So process means that it is a task which is performed in parts. It consists of a series of interrelated activities and functions which are to be performed one after the other in a definite sequence. A process is something, it is a task which consists of a series of interrelated activities or functions which are to be performed in a very systematic order and in a definite sequence. So that is what a process is. The classical concept, the classical definition of management acknowledges management as a process. So open the bracket from classical concept and close the bracket after that sentence only, management as a process. And then come down to the definition given by Dalton E. McFarland. Mark the definition along with the name of this author. Keep the whole thing within brackets. E. McFarland has defined management as, open the bracket from this sentence, management is the process by which managers create, direct, maintain and operate purposive organizations through systematic, coordinated, cooperative human efforts. So that is how Dalton E. McFarland has defined management. So according to him, he is also saying that yes, management is a process. So therefore it is a classical definition of management. So he was also of the opinion that management is a process which is performed by the managers, and through this process the managers try to create, direct, maintain and operate an organization for a particular objective or purpose? And how does the manager try to create, direct, maintain and operate an organization for a particular purpose? It is through systematic, coordinated and cooperative efforts of all individuals who are working in that organization. So that is what Dalton E. McFarland has said. He has defined management as that management is the process by which managers create, direct, maintain and operate some purposive organizations which are to be run for a definite purpose. And how this will be done? Through systematic, coordinated and cooperative human efforts. Also mark the definition given by George R. Terry. Open the bracket from the next sentence and close the bracket after the name of the author, George R. Terry, a very renowned author on management. So he has also acknowledged the fact that management is a process. He has regarded management as a process, and therefore he is saying management is a distinct process. It is a separate process, distinct process altogether, distinct task altogether, which consists of planning, organizing, actuating and controlling, performed to determine and accomplish the stated objectives by the use of human beings and other resources. So according to George R. Terry, he is also of the opinion that management is a distinct process which consists of a number of interrelated activities or functions like planning, organizing, actuating and controlling. Why are these interrelated activities are to be performed? They are to be performed to determine and fulfilling the stated objectives of the organization. Okay? And how are these objectives to be determined and accomplished? By the use of human beings and other resources. So if you break up the definition into smaller parts, you will find that the definition is meaning perfect sense. It is defining management as a distinct process consisting of a number of interrelated activities or functions like planning, organizing, actuating and controlling. These activities or functions of management, interrelated to each other, are to be performed in a definite sequence for the purpose of determining and accomplishing the stated goals or objectives of the organization. And in order to do this, for determining and accomplishing the stating objectives of the organization, human beings and other resources must be used, must be integrated and must be used in a very careful and proper manner. So that is the definition of management given by George R. Terry. Now, point number B in your topic list, point number B, write productivity concept of management. Productivity concept of management. The definition of management from the point of view of each concept is unique and important. Productivity concept of management. Open the bracket and write page number 93. Page number 93. So this productivity means what? Increasing the productivity of the workers and employees of an organization. It simply means increasing the level of efficiency, the degree of efficiency of the workers and employees of the organization, so that the productivity, the ability to produce things of these employees and workers will increase, will improve. More goods will be produced, more output will be generated, and if that happens, more goods will be sold, more revenue will be earned, more profits will be earned, and both the employer and the employees will get a larger share of the profits of the organization. So all these things are related to each other. In this productivity concept, emphasis has been given on increasing the productivity of the workers and the employees of an organization. Because these experts are of the opinion that if through the process of management, how will the productivity of the workers and employees be improved? It is through the process of management. Managers should always try to increase the productivity, that is the efficiency level of the workers and employees. They should always try to teach them new ways, new techniques, new methods of doing things. They should always try to encourage and motivate them to do things in a more efficient manner, in a new way, if possible, so that ultimately their productivity increases. So if the productivity of all the workers and employees of an organization increases, they become more efficient in executing their jobs, it will definitely lead to more quantity of output. The organization then shall be able to sell more goods in the market. More revenue will be generated, more profits will be earned, and if more profits are earned, both the employers and the employees will become happy because both the groups will get a larger share in the increased profits of the business. So that is this concept, productivity concept of management. So open the bracket from number 2, underline productivity concept. Management as an art of increasing productivity. This concept, this definition of management is saying that management is nothing but an art which must be practiced by the managers for increasing the productivity of the workers and employees of the organization. First definition given by F.W. Taylor. F.W. Taylor, Frederick Winslow Taylor, he is considered as the father of scientific management. He is the first who advocated the scientific principles of management and held management as a social science. He proved that management can be regarded as a science because management, like any other branch of science, consists of the basic characteristics or criteria which are required to be considered as a subject of science. So F.W. Taylor, he also emphasized on increasing the productivity of the workers and employees for generating more output and more revenue and more profit. So he has said, according to F.W. Taylor, management is an art. It is the art of knowing exactly what you want people to do. You over here means he is referring to a manager. Management is the art of knowing exactly what a manager wants his subordinates to do and then seeing that they do it in the best and cheapest way. So if the manager, as a manager, he will have two tasks. There are two main tasks of a manager according to F.W. Taylor. First task, the manager must know exactly and very specifically and precisely what he wants each of his subordinates to do. And number 2, after defining very clearly the work of each and every subordinate, then he should ensure that each subordinate executes his own individual piece of work in the most efficient, cheapest, and the best possible manner. So if that happens, if every worker and employee working in the organization executes his piece of work in the best possible manner and in the cheapest manner, their productivity will increase, production will increase, sales will increase, revenue will increase, profits will increase. So F.W. Taylor's definition is saying that management is the art of knowing exactly what you want people to do. You means the manager over here, and people means the subordinates working under him, and seeing that they do it in the best and cheapest way. Only this will lead to an increase in the productivity of the workers and employees. If managers first of all identify every piece of work which he wants his subordinates to do and allocates that work for each of his subordinate, and then if the manager ensures or shows the way to each subordinate that how he can execute his own piece of work in the best possible manner and in the cheapest manner, it will definitely lead to an sharp improvement in the productivity of these workers and employees. Another definition you can learn, which is given by John F. Mee. So according to John F. Mee, Management is the art of securing maximum results with a minimum of effort. Securing maximum results from whom? From the subordinates, from the workers and employees. So he is also saying that management is an art. But what sort of an art? It is the art of securing maximum output, maximum results from the employees and workers by giving a minimum of effort, by exerting minimum effort, so as to secure maximum prosperity and happiness for the employer and employees and give the public the best possible service. So John F. Mee was of the opinion that if the managers of an organization are able to secure the maximum output, the maximum productivity from the employers and employees by giving minimum of effort, it will invariably lead to maximum prosperity and happiness for the employers and employees, and also it will lead to the rendering of best possible services to the public at large. So all these things are related. First of all, increase the productivity of the workers and employees, make them more efficient. That is the first thing. If workers and employees become more efficient, more productive, more sincere, more dedicated, production, output will increase to a large extent or by a large extent. When output increases, sales increase, revenue increases, profits increase. When profits increase, both the employers, the management, as well as the employees become happy. Both the groups get a larger percentage of the profits of the business. And when both the groups are happy, the management, the owners, the employer, as well as the employees, this happiness can be translated into the happiness of the customers as well. It will lead to the rendering of best possible services in the form of best possible products at reasonable prices for the members of the society, for the customers at large. So that is what John F. Mee has said. So close the bracket after John F. Mee. Now, number C, please write down. Human relations concept of management. Number C, write in your topic list. Human relations concept of management. Within brackets write the neoclassical, neo-classical. Within brackets write the neoclassical concept of management. Human relations concept of management. Within brackets the neoclassical concept of management. Within brackets write page number 94. Page number 94. So this human resource or human relations concept of management is a new concept. That is why it is called a neoclassical concept. The classical concept of management only says it gives total power and authority in the hands of the managers, and it says that management is the art of knowing exactly what managers would want their subordinates to do, and then getting things done from their subordinates by hook or by crook. Okay, so that is the classical concept of management, which says that management is the process of creating, directing, maintaining and operating a purposeful organization through systematic, coordinated and cooperative human efforts. Then after that came the productivity concept. The productivity concept gave more powers in the hands of the managers. It says that management is the process, management is an art through which a manager must know what he wants exactly his subordinates to do, and then ensure that his subordinates do that particular work in the best possible manner. And for that, for getting things done by the others, the manager can go to any extent. But it is for the first time that in this human relations concept, these experts of management understood the importance of the human resource. They understood the importance of giving dignity and respect to the workers and employees of the organization, which constitutes the human resource of the organization. So they felt that management is not something which has to be done in a very dictatorial manner. The managers will always direct, dictate, instruct, order, and get things done by the subordinates by hook or by crook. Rather, managers must try to understand the importance of the work of the subordinates and the employees who are working under them. Must give due recognition of the effort of the employees and subordinates. Must respect their subordinates. And therefore, should try to get things done with them and through them. This with them is very important over here. The manager himself has to work, has to show, has to guide, rather than instructing, directing or commanding. The manager, it will be better that if the manager becomes a part of the working group, and whenever required, he should act like a friend, a companion to his subordinates, and show, guide, suggest and help his subordinates in executing the different responsibilities and tasks, so that the employees, the subordinates working under him, will draw inspiration, will get motivated, seeing the manager who is leading by an example, and everyone under him will try to do the job, his or own job, his own piece of job, in the most efficient manner. So here you learn the definition of Harold Kuhn's only, the human relations concept of management, or the neoclassical concept of management. Open the bracket from number 3. Management is the art of working with and through people. Managers must work with and through the people. Okay? So Harold Kuhn has defined management as that management is the art, it is an art of getting things done through and with people in formally organized groups. Managers must create small teams, small groups in the organization, and it is through this teamwork, through these small teams and small groups, managers must try to encourage and motivate all the teams working under him to do the work in a very efficient manner, in the best possible manner, by setting an example by himself, by leading from front, by helping all these teams, giving suggestions, advices, showing them how to do the work. So that is what management is, and that is what managers should always try to do. So management is the art of getting things done through and with people in formally organized groups. So close the bracket after Harold Kuhn's. Now number D, please write down the next definition of management from the point of view of another concept. Number D, decision making and leadership concept of management. Decision making is hyphenated. Decision making and leadership concept of management. Within brackets write page number 94. Decision making and leadership concept of management, page number 94. So this is another concept or view of defining management where these experts have given more emphasis on the decision making and leadership qualities of the managers. According to them, in order to be a successful manager, a good manager who will be accepted with love and affection and with respect by his subordinates, so in order to become that kind of a manager, the manager must possess two important qualities. He must be capable of taking the right decisions at the right time, and number two, he must be a good leader. He must set an example by himself. He must lead from front, show his subordinates how to do the work in the best possible manner. So if a manager possesses these two qualities, he has the quality of taking the right decision at the right time and his leadership skills and qualities, then definitely that manager will succeed in getting the things done from his subordinates to achieve the desired results. Okay? So that is the decision making and leadership concept of management. So open the bracket from number 4, underline decision making and leadership concept. According to this concept, management is an art and science of decision making and leadership. This concept is saying that management is an art as well as science of decision making and leadership. Close the bracket after that sentence, the first sentence, and learn the last two definitions. Definitions given by Donald J. Clough and Stanley Vance. Open the bracket from the definition of Donald Clough, which says, management is the art and science. Management is not only a creative thing, it is not only an art, it is also a science as well. It's a social science. So management is the art and science of decision making and leadership. That is how Donald Clough has defined management. And according to Stanley Vance, open the bracket from this line also, management is simply the process of decision making and control over the actions of human beings. These human beings are the subordinates, for the express purpose, for the sole objective of attaining the predetermined goals of the organization. So Stanley Vance has elaborated this definition slightly, and he is saying that management is the process of decision making and keeping full control over the actions, over the activities of the subordinates. Why? For the sole objective of attaining the predetermined goals of the organization. So that is how Vance has defined management. So close the bracket after the name of the author. So this is the decision making and leadership concept of management. Next, the last concept, the last definition, point number E, please write. Integration concept or modern concept of management. Integration concept or modern concept of management. Within brackets write page number 95. Page number 95. Now this integration concept is the modern concept of management. This is what modern management is. This is how management has been defined in modern times by the modern management experts. So what these modern management experts have done, they have borrowed ideas, the important qualities, characteristics from all the other concepts of management, assimilated them, integrated them, combined them, and formulated, developed a new definition of management altogether, which they are calling the integrated concept of management, which includes the good points from all the other concepts of management. Okay, so let us see that. Open the bracket from point number 5, underline integration concept, that is modern management, which says management is defined as the process. So management as a process, that idea has been borrowed. It is defined as the process of what? Of planning, organizing, actuating and controlling an organization's operations in order to achieve coordination of the human and material resources. Okay? Essential in the effective and efficient attainment of objectives. So the criteria or good points from all the other concepts have been integrated in this definition. So that is why it is called the integration concept of management. And this definition of management has been given by Robert L. Trivatha and M. Jean Newport. Close the bracket after the names of the authors. Robert L. Trivatha and M. Jean Newport learn this definition of integration management or modern management, which is saying that management is defined as a process of planning, organizing, actuating and controlling of what? Of an organization's operations. Why is this to be done? In order to achieve coordination of the human and material resources. And why is this to be done? Why is this coordination between human and physical resources required? Because it will be essential in the effective and efficient attainment of objectives of the organization. So that is the integration concept or modern concept of management. Now go to the next topic altogether. I think this will be topic number 3. Write topic number 3 and write characteristics or features of management. Please write general characteristics or features of management. General characteristics or features of management. Within brackets pages 95 to 96, mark this topic important. Mark this topic important within brackets pages 95 to 96. See, from all the concepts, the different concepts of management which you have discussed so far, the different definitions of management which you have discussed so far, okay, certain general or common characteristics of management can be extracted. So from all the various concepts and various definitions of management which we have already discussed, we can, as conclusion, we can draw out, we can extract certain general characteristics or features of management. So let us discuss these general characteristics or features of management. Open the bracket, page number 95, characteristics of management, and underline it. The salient features, important features of management are given below. The point headings must be remembered, must be memorized. Explanation of the point you can do in your own language, you can write in your own language, but it has to be the correct explanation of that particular point heading. Please remember it. Number one, management is goal oriented. Most of the concepts, most of the definitions have said that whatever management does, whatever activities are performed within the domain of management, within the purview of management, they are done with the objective of attaining some specific predetermined goals. So therefore, management is always goal oriented. Management aims to achieve economic and social objectives. It exists and operates to secure certain results. Whatever is done in management is done with the objective of securing certain definite results. The success of management is measured by the fulfillment of desired roles. So therefore, how far successful management of an organization has been, that is measured by seeing that whether the desired objectives or goals of the organization could be achieved, could be fulfilled by management or not. If management has been able to fulfill or achieve the desired goals of the organization, desired objectives of the organization, then only it will be said that management has been successful. So the success of management is measured by the fulfillment of the desired goals. Therefore, effective management is always management by objectives. Management is a purposeful activity. Number two, underline, management is universal in nature. The fundamental principles and concepts of management have been universally accepted all over the world. And these principles of management can not only be implemented in commercial organizations, they can be implemented with equal effect in any sort of organization as well. So management is all pervading. The principles of management exist everywhere. They can be applied and implemented everywhere. It is required. Management is required in all types of organizations, big or small, business or non-business. The basic functions of management are performed at every level of authority, top level, middle level or lower level management. The basic functions of management like planning, organizing, directing, staffing, controlling, these are the basic functions of management. These basic functions of management are performed by the managers at all levels, top level, middle level, lower level. Management is a group activity, already discussed, management as a group, that concept. So management is something which cannot be executed, cannot be performed by one single individual of an organization. It has to be performed by a group of efficient people who have the knowledge, expertise and capability of looking after the management of an organization. So management is concerned with the efforts of a group of people. It unites the efforts of different members of the group so that they can function as a team. Management implies the skill in getting things done through group efforts. It involves teamwork. So managers will have to work as a team to achieve the desired results. Number 4, management is a system of authority. Already discussed in some of the concepts, earlier concepts before, that when the owner of an organization appoints a particular individual as a manager of a particular department, as a head of a particular department, and gives him the responsibility, gives him a target, that you have to achieve this goal or target within the next 3 months. But at the same point in time, the owner does not give any power or authority in the hands of that departmental head, the departmental manager, then that particular person won't be able to run his department well with his subordinates, and he won't be able to achieve that target or goal which the owner has set for him. So management is a system of authority. Managers must be given sufficient amount of power and authority with the help of which they would be able to fulfill their responsibilities. So management is a rule-making and rule-enforcing authority. Managers must be given the power and authority to frame rules for the organization, which would help them to run the organization. And not only that, they should be given the authority to execute, to enforce, to implement these rules in the organization through their subordinates. There is a chain of authority among people working at different levels of the organization, which is called the organizational hierarchy, which I've explained in my last session. So there is a chain of authority, superior subordinate relationship. Chain of authority means the organizational hierarchy, the structure which is showing the superior subordinate relationship at every level of management. So there has to be a chain of authority among people working at different levels of the organization. Efficient management is possible. Efficient management is impossible. It's very difficult without well-defined lines of command or superior subordinate relationship at different levels of decision making. Efficient management will be next to impossible if there is no proper superior subordinate relationship in the organizational hierarchy. If everybody thinks that I am the superior, I am the boss, then who will carry out the instructions? Who will carry out the orders? Who will give the orders and who will take the orders? That is not possible. That is which is not desired at all in an organization. There has to be superior subordinate relationship. The superiors are the managers. They will frame policies. They have the power to frame rules and regulations. They have the authority to execute, implement those rules. They have the authority to give orders, instructions, command their subordinates to achieve the desired results for the organization. Then come to page number 96. Management is a social science. It is a social process, already discussed before in some of the concepts, in one of the concepts, that management is a social science because the manager has to continuously interact. He has to deal with human beings. He has to interact with different types of people, both within and outside the organization. So management involves getting things done with and through people. In order to achieve the desired results, a manager has to direct, regulate and coordinate the efforts of the human beings who are working under him. Human factor is an important and indispensable part of management. Cannot be ignored. Human resource, the importance of human resource, the importance of the human element has to be given vital importance by all managers. So it is an indispensable part of management. Management is a dynamic function. Management, the concepts, the principles of management keep on changing, with changes taking place in the factors of the external environment of a business. So management is a changing process. It is a dynamic process. The principles of management should be made in such a manner so that there are enough rooms in them to incorporate changes as and when required. Principles must not be made rigid, very tight, so that it cannot be changed easily whenever it is required. So management is a dynamic process. This process has to be modified, has to be amended. Its principles need changes with passage of time as changes take place in the different factors of the external environment of the business. So management is performed continuously so as to mold the policies and practices of the organization according to changes in its environment. Managers also try to modify, change the environment in order to ensure the success of the enterprise. Therefore, management is a never-ending function. Number 7, management is both an art and a science. Management is not only a science developed upon scientific principles and rules, it is an art as well which requires theoretical knowledge and practical application of that theoretical knowledge in the real life situation, and also the creative skills and qualities of the manager in tackling and dealing with new types of problems and situations in the organization. So management is both an art as well as a science. So management is a science. Please justify that why management is a science. Because it contains certain principles having universal applications like any other science subject. But the results of management depend upon the personal skills of the managers, and in this sense management is an art. The basic principles of management have been developed upon certain scientific principles, certain scientific logic. So therefore we can say that management is a science. The principles of management, when applied in two different places, most of the times it will give the same result. So like any other branch of science, management can also be regarded as a science because its fundamental principles have got universal applications. The fundamental principles of management can be applied with equal effect, producing the same result universally in any part of the world. In that sense, management is a science. But the way these principles are to be applied, that is an art. It requires the creative quality of the manager. The creativeness of the manager is required. That under which circumstance he will apply which principle and how he is going to implement that principle in the organization. For that, creative ability of the manager is required. His creative skills are required. So in that sense, management is regarded as an art. So, but the results of management depend upon the personal skills of the manager, and in this sense, management is an art. However, the art and science of management are complementary to each other. Management itself is a distinct entity. It is itself a distinct process or entity. Management is a distinct process, a separate process, performed to determine and accomplish the stated objectives by the use of human beings and other resources. From the point of view of a commercial organization or any other organization, management itself is a distinct process, a separate task which has to be performed to accomplish, to fulfill the stated objectives of the organization by the use of human beings and other physical resources of the organization. Management is distinct from its activities, techniques and procedures. As a distinct process, management consists of planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. As a distinct process, management consists these specific activities and functions like planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. Close the bracket. Point number 9 not required. Come down to point number 10 and open the bracket from there. Management is an integrating process. That comes from the modern concept or integration concept of management, this characteristic. That management tries to integrate the human resource with all the other non-human or physical resources in order to achieve the predetermined objectives of the organization. So management is a unifying force. It tries to bring together, it tries to unite as it coordinates individual efforts into a team. Managers reconcile goals and activities so that the total results are more than the sum of individual contributions. Management integrates human efforts with the non-human resources, with the other physical resources. Management is multidisciplinary. In management, knowledge drawn from several disciplines, which I have told you before when I discussed management as a discipline in my last session. So the ideas which have been used for developing the various principles of management have been hired. These ideas have been hired from a number of other subjects. So therefore we can say that management itself is multidisciplinary. It consists of the ideas borrowed from a number of other subjects. In management, knowledge drawn from several disciplines, several subjects like economics, sociology, psychology, anthropology, etc. is applied to secure the desired results. So therefore management is an applied discipline. You can close the bracket after point number 11. So study this topic very well, prepare it as a long question. You can get a question like, explain the main characteristics or features of management. Discuss the important characteristics of management. So I will wind up this session over here now. In the third session, in the next session, I shall be discussing with you the topics like nature of management, followed by a comparison between two concepts, management and administration. Till then, goodbye.